everyone. So this is a guided stretch with mobility mixed in. So it'll kind of flow a bit, but there'll be lots of stops for holding static stretches. All you need for equipment is something will be on our back, and we'll do some hamstring stretch work. So you're gonna want either a yoga strap or a belt or a dish towel. I'm using a long resistance band because I can't find my yoga strap right now. You could use a long resistance band too, but it needs to be a heavy one. If you use a light one, your leg is just gonna bounce around, okay? So that's what I'm gonna use, but any of the above work. This is gonna be pretty chill. We're gonna be down on the mat, no standing work, okay? Let's start in a tabletop. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. And we're gonna do a cat-cow, but we're gonna trace circles with our cat-cow. So as you inhale, gaze shifts up, tailbone reaches up, we find spinal extension. And we're making a circle with our body. So we're gonna start to side bend over to one side, kind of crunching shoulder towards hip. And then as you exhale, you're gonna round your spine up towards the ceiling. And you're gonna do that little side bend over to the other side. You're just gonna keep moving your body in a circle like this. So it might feel a little silly, who cares? It feels so good. Inhale that extension. Exhale, round the spine up towards the ceiling, also opening up through the sides of our body. Let's switch direction of our circles. One more. And then from here, I just want you to elongate the spine to neutral. We're gonna do a fluid thread the needle. So we're gonna take our right elbow up towards the ceiling, and then you're just gonna thread the right under the left, tapping your cheek to the mat, and just keep moving fluidly like that. We'll just do 3 fluid, and then we're gonna hold the thread the needle. That'll be our first static hold. So next time you thread right under left, cheek to the mat, I want you to hold. I want you to pull your bottom shoulder away from the ear, and then I want you to take your left hand and I want you to walk it forward overhead and over to the right a little bit, okay? And then we're gonna kind of open up our chest as if we could lean over to the right a little bit. So you should feel that nice shoulder stretch. And then we're just gonna stay here for 30 seconds. We inhale through the nose, expanding into that mid-back area, and on the exhale, we melt into it. I want you to take your left hand and start to walk it back in. You're gonna press yourself back up through tabletop, and we're just gonna do that same thing over to the other side. So left elbow is gonna lift up to the ceiling, open twist to the left, and then thread left under right, cheek to the mat. Keep going like that, fluid for 3, then we hold. One more. And this time you thread it through and you hold cheek to the mat, slide the shoulder away from your ear, and then you're going to walk this right arm forward. And we're gonna think of kind of opening up through the chest, almost rolling back towards the left a little bit. And you might wanna walk that right hand over to the left a little bit. And then we just stay here and breathe. Take your right hand and start to walk it in. Press yourself back to a tabletop. And then from here, from your tabletop, I want you to take your hands and walk them forward about 6 inches. We're going to kind of do child's pose into a kneeling upward dog variation, okay? So I want you to start by rounding the spine up towards the ceiling and shifting your bum towards your heels. And then you're going to start to shift forward, bringing the spine through neutral and then opening it up into an extension, dropping your hips, but maintaining engagement through the glutes so you don't just dump into your back. Exhale, reverse it, round the spine, and shift back. As you shift back, think of pressing your armpits towards the floor. So we round it forward, we uncurl the spine, opening up, spinal extension, open through the chest, a little gaze up, fire through the glutes to protect your lower back, and round it back. Just one more like this. Find that spinal extension. And then from here, I want you to keep your hips in a semi-lowered position, but come out of the extension into a modified plank. So we're neutral through the spine. And then from here, just slowly, you're going to lower yourself all the way down to the mat in a prone position. From here, I want you to take both hands, stack one on top of the other, and then rest your forehead on top of them. And we're going to bend our right knee, and we're going to pull it up and out to the right. So we're kind of in this frog position. You keep your left leg long. Now from here, we're just going to find internal rotation within the hip joint. So you're going to take your right foot and you're going to pick it up off of the mat. The knee stays down and then you just lower it. So we're rotating the thigh bone within the hip joint, internally rotating it and lowering. Ooh, got a Charlie horse there. Shake out the toes. I want you to lift on the exhale and stay engaged through your core so that as you do this, there's minimal rocking. Ideally, none at all through the pelvis. It is just the leg rotating within that hip socket. Up and parallel. Start adding in a little pause when you're internally rotated. Breathe into it. And then lower back down. We're not going to do a 30-second hold in this position because it can be really intense depending on your hips. Just adding in short little brief pauses and then lowering down. Two more. Last time. Hold it internally rotated for a couple breaths. Then I want you to return the foot to the mat, and I want you to plant your right hand on the mat by your shoulder, and then use it for support as you swing that leg back behind you parallel, but keep the knee bent. Foot is pointing up towards the floor. Now I want you to take your left arm, and I want you to reach it long in a T, okay? Now from here, stay active through the core. We're going to start by firing through the right side glutes, and we're just going to lift that knee off the mat. So fire through the glutes and kind of press that foot up towards the ceiling. Now your knee is at a hover. From here, we're going to push off our right hand and we're going to start to twist open. Now rotate your knee up towards the ceiling and then plant that foot on the floor behind your left leg. Let's reverse it. Start by lifting up your right knee and start to rotate it so the foot kind of points back behind you. Then we roll the torso back into a prone position and we lower the knee down to the mat. Let's do that again. So fire through the glutes, knee to a hover. Peel the body open. Now rotate the knee up towards the ceiling. Plant your foot on the floor. Reverse it. Lift the foot off the floor. Rotate so the foot points behind you. Then bring your chest back and lower your foot down. Again. Rotate the leg before the torso. And this time we're going to hold the twist. Rotate that knee up to the ceiling, plant the foot down, and we're going to hold here. So we're getting that nice chest opener. Now you can keep your right hand on the floor in front of you. If you want to make it more intense for your left shoulder, you can bring the right hand behind you. You don't have to though. And we're going to hold here for 30 seconds. We're going to do that from the top. When you're ready, let's roll back to our prone position. We can stack the hands, one on top of the other, forehead on top of those. And now you're going to bend. Let me just scoot over to the side a little bit. You're going to take your left knee and you're going to pull it up and out to the left, kind of at hip height. How high it is just depends on your hips. Don't force it. And let's start with that internal rotation. So we pick that left foot up off of the floor, pause for a second, and then just lower it back down. We lift on an exhale, we engage through the core. We don't want to rock through the pelvis. We just want to isolate the movement of that thigh bone within the hip joint. And we stay here for a good chunk of time, just exploring this internal rotation, adding in a pause at the top as it feels good. We want to challenge the range of motion, but we shouldn't feel like we're jamming the joint. So maybe your foot lifts a foot off the ground, maybe it just gets a couple inches off the floor. Either is absolutely fine. We'll do 2 more. Pausing at the top for a breath. And lowering down. And then last time, if you haven't been pausing at the top, let's all pause at the top for this last one. You're going to return your foot to the floor, and now you're going to take your left hand and plant it on the mat, kind of outside your left shoulder. And you're going to use it as for support as you just swing that left leg back parallel. So thighs are parallel, knee is still bent, foot points up towards the ceiling. And now you're going to take your right arm and you're going to reach it out to the right in a T shape. All right, so flex through the foot. On an exhale, you're going to fire through the glutes. You know where we're going. And we're going to bring that knee to a hover. And now from here, you're going to push off of your left hand. You're going to roll open into that shoulder stretch. You're going to take that left knee, rotate it up towards the ceiling so we're externally rotated within the hip, and you plant the foot on the floor behind you. And then we reverse it. We lift the leg up, rotate so the foot kind of points back behind you, then return the chest to the mat and lower the knee. Again, lift to a hover, active through the glutes. Roll your torso open. Externally rotate the knee up towards the ceiling. Plant the foot on the floor. Reverse it. Lift the foot. Rotate within the hip joint. Back to prone and lower the knee. Lift. Roll open. Rotate. Foot plants. Foot lifts. Rotate the leg, return the chest, lower the knee. This time we're going to hold that shoulder stretch. Lift, twist open, rotate the knee, plant the foot down, and then we hold. Getting that nice chest opening. Again, if you want, you can take the left hand behind you for a little more of an intense shoulder stretch. You don't have to, though. So we started by exploring internal rotation within that hip joint. Then we just did a little external, mixing in some twisting, some chest opening, some love for the shoulders. This is where we finish prone. We'll flip onto our backs for the remainder of class. All right, let's come through center. From here, I want you to reach one arm and leg long, and then we're just going to roll over onto our backs. And you are going to grab your yoga strap or dish towel or belt or band, whatever you're using. So we're going to start by taking our left leg long, and the right foot, we're going to take our strap and we're going to put it around the arch of the right foot, and you're going to grab the ends in both hands. And we're going to press that straight leg up towards the ceiling, and let's just start with a little bend and press of the knee. just to start opening up through the hamstrings. If it's too much with your left leg straight on the ground, you can also always bend the knee and have the foot on the floor, okay? That's an option throughout this. All right, now when you're ready, we're gonna hold that leg straight and we're gonna hold for 30 seconds. You're going to pull the thigh towards your face as much as you can. I'm pretty tight through the hamstring, so I don't have much more range of motion than that. But whatever your farthest point is, you're gonna hold there for for 30 seconds. Using that strap to create some traction. Maybe you don't need the strap, maybe your hands can grab the actual leg, but the strap is great if you're like me and you're a little tighter. Try to keep your shoulders on the ground though as you do this. For the last few seconds, maybe you try getting a little deeper into the stretch. And then we're going to keep the legs straight, but we're going to back off a little bit. So now from here, we're going to come into a windshield wiper. I'm going to just angle my body this way so I actually have space. You're going to use the strap to support the leg, okay? I'm going to keep one hand on either end, but you could transfer it into one hand if that works better for you. We're going to start by crossing midline. Keep your right hip down as you do this, so we're not going to bring the leg very far over to the left. And then we're just going to take it wide. As we bring it wide, you can kind of plant the right elbow down. You can let that leg drop wide. Keep your left hip anchored on the floor. And then we exhale, we bring it back up and cross midline. Now when we were in, just keep windshield wipering like that. Now when we were in our frog position, we got a nice opening through the groin already. So we're not going to hold the leg out to the side. We're just going to hold midline coming up. So one more time, take it out wide. And then we're going to take it up through midline. I'm just going to come through center. So keeping both hips anchored, you can take the both ends of the band into your left hand for this, and you can have your right hand down on the floor for support, and you're just going to cross midline. It doesn't have to be very far at all, only as far as you can go, keeping your right hip anchored, and we're just going to hold here for 30. If you need to make it more intense, you just pull that leg a little closer towards your face. So we're getting the outer line of the leg and outer hip here. We're using the strap in our arm to support it so that we don't have the whole leg working, or gravity working against the whole weight of the leg. Have a little support from our arm in the strap here. All right, when you're ready, let's bring it up. I want you to bend your right knee. We're going to do that same thing on the other side. So the band is going to go around the arch of your left foot. Your right leg is going to stretch long, one end in each of your two hands. And let's start with just a little bend and press to actively start opening up through the hamstrings. All right, we're going to come into that static hold. So give me one more little bend and then press, hold the legs straight. And then to increase the stretch, you just start to choke up on the band and pull that thigh a little closer towards your chest. May not come very close at all. Mine gets about up to the ceiling and that's it. Maybe you pull it really far, okay? If keeping your right leg long on the floor isn't working, again, bend the knee and plant the foot instead. 30 seconds here. Last few seconds, maybe get a little deeper into the stretch. Pull just a little closer. And then let's keep the legs straight, but back off a little bit. We're going to windshield wiper. I like one end in each hand. You could transfer to just your right arm though. So we start by going cross midline, and again, it's important our hips stay anchored to the floor. So we cross midline, probably won't be a huge range of motion, and then we're gonna come out wide to the side. When we do, I like to plant my left elbow down just for a little support, because you usually can get a pretty big range of motion here. And we bring it back up, and we cross midline. And out to the side. Keep your right hip anchored as you go wide. We're going to hold with that midline stretch. So next time you cross midline over to the right, make sure both hips are anchored. You're neutral through the pelvis. Go just as far as you can, still keeping the hips down, and we're going to hold. I'm just going to bring both ends into my opposite left hand, and I'm going to put my right hand down on the floor. Or wait, did I do that the other way? No, I like this way better. Do whatever, grip in whatever hand feels more supported for you. I think I'm doing the same hand twice, but this feels more supportive for me. 30 seconds. Keep the hip anchored. If you need a little more, you pull the leg towards your face a little bit. Notice if you're holding tension in your shoulders, try to relax them. Don't shrug them up to your ears. All right, and when you're ready, let's bring that leg through center, bend the knee, ditch the strap. We're going to finish one final stretch, happy baby, my favorite. You're going to grab the outer edges of your feet in your hands. Knees are bent, and you're going to gently pull the knees in towards your armpits. Might feel good to kind of massage out the lower back and rock side to side a little bit, or maybe you just hold in stillness. Either way, you have 30 seconds here. If this is uncomfortable, you could always pick a different position. When you're ready, you're going to release the feet. Let's just finish with a moment of stillness. You can reach your legs long, arms can be down by your side, and let's just take a few breaths here with the eyes closed if you're comfortable doing so. You can inhale and exhale out through the nose. I just want this to be relaxing. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. You can bring your hands behind one leg to help you come up to a seated position. Or you can stay and chill on the ground. Hope you enjoyed that and are feeling good. It's always nice to do just like a chill stretch and mobility flow sometimes. Great for an active recovery day. Or sometimes I like to do this sort of movement before meditation, and it really helps me settle into a more focused, deeper meditation. But maybe that sounds a little woo-woo. Either way, I'll see you guys next time. Hope you're feeling good after that.